Hello again. It's before Passover. It's before the holidays. We have to be sure that we watch out for our children. We have now this famous case of Weberman who was Mishmeres Atznius. That means he was safeguarding modesty in our community. He raped girls, he raped boys, he did everything that wasn't supposed to be done. Again, I will explain it to you in very simple language. Our problem is not Weberman, is not Rabbi Leibowitz, it's not any of these pedophiles. Our serious problem is Mishmeres Atznius. Our problem is Mr. Charles Hines, Mrs. Hannah White, Chana Radolsky of Kol Tzedek. Why are they our problems? If it wasn't for them, Mishmeres Atznius never could have done the corruptions that they did to our community. We are hurt to the end. We can't take it anymore. We cannot turn this around in one day. We are the ones that are fighting that these arrests should happen, and it's happening. Now, every case we have to go down to the DA's office, we have to go down to the court with the cameras, with the Daily News, with the Post, so that we see that the response should happen. Otherwise, they whitewash everything again. It was only last week where I went down to the court of Michael Sabo. Michael Sabo made movies while he was molesting two boys. I went down because the father from the victim comes from Israel. He works there. He lives here. I went down to give him support. I see Chana Radolsky there. She greets me. I wasn't going to greet her because I feel that this whole Chana Radolsky and Kol Tzedek is just to cover up 50 years that no arrests happened. So they're trying to make now it should look more realistic, that nobody wanted to come forward, but because we have Kol Tzedek, people are coming forward. So there was one of the people in the audience, and Chana Radolsky was explaining to him how good Kol Tzedek works. So he knows already my policies, and he says to her, Chana, was this arrest for Michael Sabo through Kol Tzedek? She says, no. He says, was Baruch Mordechai Leibovitz's arrest from Kol Tzedek? She says, no. Was the arrest of Nehemiah Weberman from Kol Tzedek? She says, no. So then he says to her, well, who was arrested through Kol Tzedek? Then she saw that, nobody believes this garbage anymore. I go over to her. She greeted to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk to her. I go over to her and I said, can I ever talk for a moment with the father? I really don't recognize him because there's so many people here, and I'd like to go to the right person to give him a little moral support. So she says, well, I can't tell you who the father is. And she says, and you know why. And I wasn't going to start arguing with her. Of course I know why. Because I keep on bashing Mr. Charles Hines and Mrs. Hannah White in public that they are the most corrupted people in the Brooklyn law system. Anyway, then she goes over to the father. She talks to him. I don't know what she spoke to him. When I came over to talk to him, he wasn't going to talk to me. He says, well, I can't talk after Rush now. I said, wait a minute, I don't need you. I want you to give me, well, I didn't even speak to him direct. I saw how harsh he was already. I told somebody to go ask him his email so that I can write to him. Because he had told me that in Israel, he also has the same hotline that I have here, teaching people. So he gives me an email which is not his, has nothing to do with him. And then Chana Radolsky rushes him out. And they're going to the DA's office. So I want you to understand one thing. Father of the victim, mark my word, if not for me and other good people and the newspapers and the televisions that come to every case, Michael Sabo would have walked like a gentleman's walk. Not even a day in jail after his trial. If it was up to Hannah White and Charles Hines. Trust me, you're banking on the wrong horse. It was these people. Hannah White spoke to a father of a victim who I took him hand by hand to go with him to the police, to go through this whole chaos, and this is Daskalovich's case. And Hannah White sat in her office explaining to also one of the victims, who I gave a lot of support, that we need to take Rabbi Rosenberg in jail because he talks about all cases, and because of him we can't arrest anybody. Hogwash. Hannah White, that's the message I have for you. I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that you and Mr. Charles Hines will be in jail much before I will. You people are corrupted. You killed the community. You took cash money according to Mishmeres Hatznius. Mr. Charles Hines is on the payroll of Mishmeres Hatznius. If Daskelovich can walk in the streets and you're whitewashing it, it's because Mr. Mentzer, who has a store in Brooklyn, he gives contributions to Charles Hines. But that's probably legal. But we have illegal contributions that we know about. Rabbi Joseph David Krauss said that Mr. Charles Hines is on our payroll and Rabbi Rosenberg don't start with us. Quote. So this is what's happening here. We are all messed up. We have no problem with Rabbi Leibovitz. Rabbi Leibovitz didn't know that he's not supposed to do it because all he did is he came in to one of the people, Yudel Wolf, in Borough Park, and Yudel Wolf had a 5-inch file on all his bad doings of Rabbi Leibovitz, and every time they caught him, he gave 5,000, 10,000. So he thought that that's the way that the law system works. We have no problem with him. We have a problem with Mishmeres Hatznius and with Charles Hines and with Hannah White. And now with Hannah Radovsky. She's going to tell us that she's using the code SEDEC for something constructive. She's using it for nothing. They're whitewashing everything. They know every case before it comes in. They call up right away the Rabbonim. Listen, we have to whitewash this year. Yeah, we need the votes, we need the money and everything. That's all that's happening. I want the FBI should get onto this and to investigate everything that went on for 30 years. There was no arrest. Not Kol Tzedek is making arrests now. The 60 or 70 arrests came from my hotline and from people that are aware now. It did not come any way, shape, or form from Kol Tzedek. Prove me one case that came from Kol Tzedek. Kol Tzedek is a waste of time, and Hannah Radovsky's payroll is a waste of time. A waste of money. We have to stop this garbage. We need that anytime a pedophile is picked up, it shouldn't be whitewashed. If anybody terrorizes the parents of the victims, they should go to jail just like the pedophile himself. And we don't have to run down to court every few days and say, oh, there's a new case, we have to be here with the televisions, we have to make press releases. This is ridiculous. If we have to do this, why is Charles Hines getting paid for his job? We're the ones that are doing the job, and we don't have the time for it, and neither the energy for it, because this is draining everybody. When we come back, you know what we get in our community? Shouting and everything, throwing out, ostracizing. Shame on this whole Brooklyn law system, shame on the DA, and shame on this whole court system, if this is the way we have to fight for every pedophile to be locked up. Again, we want to conclude. We are sick and tired of the way it went. We have to get that rotten, honorable Charles Hines out of that office. He will not change. He can't change. He won't change at this age. With the monies that he got, according to the way Mishmeres Hatznius describes it. We need that all these people who are running dry, the victims and the parents of the victims and the people who are helping out should be arrested at the same time when we arrest the pedophiles. Otherwise, we don't have a safe community, and there's no reason to hold a big building and a court system and a DA's office. It's a waste of money. We're in the jungle. So where's our tax monies go to? We are all upset. Just as President Barack Obama said, we need a change. And we can make a change, and we will make a change. Mr. Charles Hines, we will make a change. You won't change. We need you out, together with Hannah White, together with this whole Mishmeres Hatznius. We had proven that Mishmeres Hatznius, Nehemiah Weberman, who was the chief of them, is the biggest pedophile that there is. Thank you.